Okay, what if we could just design a future that's completely free from suffering? Today, we're diving into a really bold blueprint for humanity's future, one that's laid out in the text Conceptual Evolution. And look, this isn't just about making things a little bit better. It's about a total redesign of human existence itself. It's honestly one of the most ambitious visions you're ever likely to hear. And the whole thing kicks off with this incredible promise. It sets a tone that's, well, nothing short of utopian. It suggests a future so perfect, it's almost overwhelming to even think about. So, what does a world that's beautiful to the point of trembling actually look like? At its heart, the goal here is to build an actual paradise on Earth. And again, we're not talking about small improvements. We're talking about completely eliminating suffering. All of it. That's a huge claim, for sure. So how on earth does the author think we can pull that off? Well, the approach is radical. Instead of just treating the symptoms of suffering, things like poverty or war, the plan is to go deeper. The idea is to rip out the very roots of all negative human emotion. This is basically a fundamental re-engineering of the human condition itself. So, how do you actually dig up those roots? The plan calls for something pretty dramatic, something it calls the Great Elimination. To get to this paradise, the source argues that some of the most basic parts of our society have to be removed completely. Just take a second and let this sink in. I mean, look at this list. The foundational pillars of our civilization, things like government, nations, even money, and the family unit, these are identified as the actual source of all our suffering. So to build this new world, the text says they all have to be dismantled. It's a complete societal reset. All right, so if all of that is gone, what's left? What replaces it? Well, the new design for human life is built around a concept the author calls the 120-year life. And the new standard for a human lifespan becomes exactly 120 years. But this isn't just about living longer. It's really about what you do with that time. During these 120 years, you're not just sitting around. The plan is for every single person to live and work in at least 40 different locations across the entire globe. The whole idea is to create a truly global citizen, someone whose life is just packed with diverse experiences, climates, cultures, and languages. And the intended result of all this? A life with a totally new emotional feel to it. The author describes it as being filled with overwhelming joy, a life that is constantly intoxicating. It's a vision that goes way beyond just simple happiness. But, this brings up a pretty obvious question, right? You live this absolutely perfect 120-year life. Then what? Does it just end? Well, according to this text, the answer is no. This is just stage one. Right at that 120-year mark, humanity is supposed to reach a transformation point. And this is where the vision goes from utopian to straight-up transhumanist, moving way beyond the limits of our biological bodies. So path number one is called a magnificent transformation. At 120, you can choose to have your consciousness condensed into a chip. That chip then gets transported to Mars and uploaded into a robotic body. This lets you switch from being a carbon-based life form to a silicon-based one, experiencing the universe in a brand new vessel. Okay, so if becoming a robot on Mars isn't really your vibe, there's a second option, ascension. You can choose to enter what the text calls celestial realms, places like the Millennium World or the Land of Ultimate Bliss, and just continue your existence as an immortal being. So that's the grand vision, right? A perfected life on Earth, followed by a choice of two different post-human futures. But here's the kicker. The author doesn't just present this as some nice idea. They make an absolutely extraordinary claim about how inevitable this whole plan is. The text itself asks the question head-on. Is there any force on this planet, any person, any institution that could possibly stand in the way of this conceptual evolution? And the answer it gives is just one single, unambiguous Chinese word. 没有. It translates simply to no one. The author has zero doubt that anyone can stop this. And just to be crystal clear, the text goes on to specify exactly who is powerless to stop this plan. Presidents, billionaires, the world's most brilliant scientists and thinkers, none of them, it claims, can do a thing to halt this process. And with that claim of inevitability comes a pretty stark warning. The text explicitly advises against resisting. The choice it presents is simple. Get on board, or you will be, and this is a direct quote, eliminated by the new era's program. With a warning like that, you're probably wondering, okay, how do I get on board? Well, according to the source, there is only one prerequisite to enter this new era. It's something called the Spiritual Purification Course. The text doesn't really get into the details, only that it is the single most important step. In fact, to put a finer point on it, there is nothing more important or urgent you can do with your time. This one single mysterious course is positioned as the only gateway to being a part of this incredible future. And so, that's the vision, a world without suffering leading to an immortal existence. And it's all accessible through a single prerequisite. The source frames this as a historic, once-in-a-10,000-year opportunity. It's a blueprint that really forces us to question the very foundations of how we live. And it asks us to decide, is this a beautiful dream for humanity, or is it a terrifying one?